Do you want to learn the art of public speaking? What happens to our mind when we go in front of a large audience? Do you want to remove your fear of stage and have more confidence when you are talking to a larger audience? Let's try to understand the psychology of public speaking in today's video.
My name is Anmol. I'm a mental health practitioner, counselor, psychologist, career coach, life coach, and life skills trainer. I'm here to share my insights and learnings with you to tackle life challenges and attain your highest potential. Let's create balance in your life.
Hi everyone, I hope all of you are doing great. Welcome to my channel Ask Life with Anmol, where we try to create awareness about the field of psychology and try to create balance in your life. The topic that we have chosen today is understanding the art of public speaking, becoming more confident on stage so that you become a good communicator and orator in front of your audience. Communication and public speaking plays a vital role in everyone's career, whether it is your school, whether it is your college, whether it is your office. Whenever you go there, you have to understand the other person's perspective. You have to give them instructions. So public speaking and communications becomes critical there. According to a research work, 60% people get more hike and promotion in their jobs if they are good at communicating and public speaking. 50 to 70% students get better chances of competitions and have good grades and participate in extracurricular activities in their schools and colleges. So you see, today we will try to understand the three components of public speaking. The first component is the fear. Why people fear in front of a large public. Understand the psychology and what is going in their mind in the first part. Second, we will try to understand the audience perspective, because public speaking, most of the people think that it is about us. We are communicating to people. But on the other hand, best communicators, best public speakers are those who understand the other person's perspective, go into the mind and shoes of their audience. And third, we will give you some therapeutic techniques. Yes, you heard it right. Some therapy-based techniques which will help you to become a better public speaker. So stay till the end. The first fear that people have, and it falls into the majority category, is fear of judgment. Now this is a fear where people feel that my audience is judging me. Whether I have dressed well, whether am I looking tidy, am I looking fat, am I looking smart? So this triggers social rejection. People fear social rejection when they are giving public speech. Now, when we have social rejection, and this particular phenomena is called glossophobia, fear of judgment. Now, this happens when in our childhood, nobody told us that you are good. You are good at doing this. We always seek external validation. We always ask approval. Am I doing good? Am I doing bad? This happens when there is a lot of dependency-based relationship between the parents or the friends. That's why people have this fear of judgment. This leads to trigger situations and a fear and flight emotions. So you might have dry mouth, you might sweat a lot, you might have loss of breath when you have this kind of fear in your mind. So that is the first fear. The second thing which causes fear in the mind of the person is imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome is a constant pressure that I am not good enough. Have I done this in the right quality, in the right manner or not? That's called imposter syndrome. So if you go into the head of a person who is public speaking, they will always say that, am I saying right? Am I communicating the message well? Am I good enough as a communicator? Am I good enough with the topic which I am talking? So they will question themselves. They will always have a self-doubt. Am I good enough or not? So this is imposter syndrome. And it again dates back to your childhood. If you were told that you are not good enough, you are never appreciated by your teachers, by your friends, by your parents. That's why you have imposter syndrome. Third thing or third phenomena is self-fulfilling prophecy. Now you might have imagined whatever you think, you attract that particular situation. If you think that I will have fear, my feet and my hands will tremble during my speech, you will unconsciously become like that. So that is self-fulfilling prophecy. So positive attracts positive and negative attracts negative. So try to be positive in your mind when you are doing any particular kind of public speaking. So when you think positive, that even though I might have fear, I will be confident, I will give my best 100%. That will reduce this particular phenomena of self-fulfilling prophecy. Now let's try to understand the category of public speaking anxiety. The first type of anxiety is generalized public speaking anxiety, in which a person feels anxious whenever they go for public speaking, irrespective of the context, whether you are, let's say, reading news in your school, whether you are going for a presentation in your college, whether you are giving presentation in your office. This is a generalized anxiety, and this is very normal. You need to understand that having anxiety, butterflies in your stomach, is totally fine. But if it is hampering your whole speech, then it becomes problematic. So that is generalized anxiety in the case of public speaking. Next type of anxiety is performance anxiety. Now this is an anxiety when a performance criteria is related to that performance. For example, if you are in college or school, your marks are dependent on this presentation, then you have performance anxiety. Your grades of college are related to this performance, then it is related to your performance anxiety. In your office, if your promotion is based upon this performance or speech, then it becomes a performance anxiety. So if we relate anything which is high in your life, whether it is your grades, it's your salary, it's your promotion, then people have this performance anxiety during that public speaking affair. Then comes topic specific anxiety. Now, if you are not prepared for a particular topic and it is not your specific domain of knowledge, then you feel anxious. Now, for example, all of us know when there is an examination or a viva and we have to give a presentation and we have not prepared for that particular content, then we might feel anxious about it, and that is very, again, normal. And let's say you are giving a speech in front of a larger audience and you're not very credible person about that knowledge. For example, if you're talking about medicine and somebody asks you a very random topic, you will become anxious because you have not prepared for it. So that is topic specific anxiety during public speaking. Last anxiety related to public speaking is context anxiety. Context anxiety means that you are confident about a particular topic with certain people, let's say with your friends. And if I ask you to deliver the content with 15 random people, you will feel anxious. So it is context of people. It can also be context of space. Let's say you are very confident in an open environment. In your school or in an open environment, you're very confident about the topic of public speaking. But in a closed environment, in a theater, it's all closed, then you become underconfident in that public speaking context. So that is how context is very important when we talk about public speaking. Now, I hope you understood different types of fears and anxiety of a public speaker's mind, right? Now, let's understand the second stakeholder, that is our audience. Because audience reaction will assess whether you are a good public speaker or not. So let's get into the mind of an audience. The first phenomena that you need to understand is primacy and recency effect. Now, what is primacy and recency effect? So people remember what they are given at first and what they are given in the end. So always start your topic with something interesting. It can be latest memes, it can be latest topic from current affairs, or it can be latest movie. So always start your speech with primacy effect, something very entertaining in the initial part that will grab the attention of your audience in the first go. Secondly, you need to have a beautiful end. You need to weave a story, right? What you started with, you can also end with the same context. We are living in the age of YouTube, right? People are watching people speak like you are watching me, and we are delivering you high quality content with stocks, images and animation. So you people have to understand primacy and recency effect and give them some clues every 20 seconds, every 30 seconds, right? So that hook should be created when you are delivering your speech or content in public speaking. Second, you need to understand human beings are social animals. They are very emotional in nature. So try to add any kind of emotional context or metaphors, right? So anything which is related to humanity, right? Most of the ads you might have seen, that dates back to the emotional part. If you saw Maggie ad, that dates back to our childhood days, that dates back to our college. So we remember our friends, that creates nostalgia in their mind. So try to make some emotional point for that emotional engagement of your audience. So you can add stories, you can add metaphors, you can add any other component for emotional regulation of your audience. Third concept is known as mirror neurons. So the audience try to mirror the actions of the speaker. If as a speaker, I am very conscious, I am very afraid, I am nervous. So audience also becomes negative. They also are nervous about your speech. They don't support you. But on the other hand, if I show some enthusiasm, let's say I tell them raise your hand up if you agree, raise your left hand up if you disagree. So that creates a kind of engagement. So try to enhance that kind of engagement with mirror neuron concept. So like for example, I gave you can ask them to stand up, you can ask them to sit down, you can ask them to raise their hands, you can ask them questions, right? So try to show enthusiasm which gets mirrored from your audience. So if you add these components and understand your audience, your speech, your content becomes more engaging for them. So that was about the mind of your audience and how you can engage it. Now let me share you some techniques that we have created from therapeutic techniques, which will help you to reduce your anxiety and fear of public speaking. The first therapy that we have chosen is cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, which says you need to restructure your thoughts of what you are trying to say in your mind. So most of us engage in negative self-talk. For example, I will say that I am not good enough, I will mess up, I will not be able to deliver a good speech. But we need to put a stop button in your brain when you are doing negative self-talk. How you have to structure it in reality. I'm not saying you have to be too optimistic about it, but we will talk about reality. So I will not be able to speak in front of audience, I will mess up, I'll become anxious. It can be converted into that I am preparing well for this presentation. I will give my 100%. I'm here to add value to my audience's knowledge. I will give my best to this particular public speaking event. Whatever happens next is not in my hand. So this is how we convert your negative self-talk into a neutral factual based self-talk. And you can try repeating it before you go for that public speaking stance. So this is how you use CBT. First you identify the negative thought, put a stop button to it and reframe it to a factual neutral part. The next therapy that we have chosen is called systematic desensitization. So in systematic desensitization, we increase the intensity of the fear-causing object and we try to become accustomed to it. I'll give you a simple example. If you fear from swimming, so we first start with shallow waters, then we increase the height of the water so that the person can swim and reduce their fear. So what you can do with this situation, you can start practicing with an AI bot. So you can use ChatGPT and other AI bots and have a conversation with them. Second layer is you can talk to 2 to 3 friends of yours whom you are comfortable with. That is second layer of your exposure. Then you can talk to your family members, which are 5 to 10 in number. And then eventually in step 4, you can talk to a larger audience, right? So what we are doing is we are increasing the public speaking fear by the number of audiences gradually, right? So that will enhance your credibility and your courage to overcome that fear of public speaking. So this is how you can use therapy of systematic desensitization to reduce your fear. Next technique you can use is visualization and mental rehearsal. So visualization is a very powerful technique which are mentioned in different popular books. What you have to do is, before the actual event, let's say you are preparing for it prior to 1 week or 15 days, you have to think that you are in that audience. Whatever the audience space is, whatever the context is, you are in that audience and you are delivering it confidently. Think about it for 5 minutes. And when the actual event would come, you will become more confident about it. As I told you before, self-fulfilling prophecy also works in a positive way. If you think that I will deliver the speech very confidently, you will eventually do it in the actual event. So try to use visualization at least 7 to 15 days prior to the event. Second is mental rehearsal. So when you are in your late time, you are commuting, when you are not doing any activity, try to do mental rehearsals of your dialogues, what you have to actually speak. That will give you more confidence and credibility. The next technique is called controlled breathing and grounding technique. Now, this technique will help you to reduce your anxiety and fear at that particular moment. So the first technique is called 4-7-8 technique. 4 seconds you have to inhale, 7 seconds you have to stop that breathing, and 8 seconds you have to exhale. This 4-7-8 techniques helps you reduce your heart rate and make yourself to your senses. Right? Second technique is grounding technique. Because when we panic, when we become anxious, we lose control of our senses, right? So to get back to your senses, you can use this grounding technique, which is used by most psychologists to reduce anxiety, 5-4-3-2-1 technique. So you can reduce the number also here. So what generally we suggest, 5 things you can see at that point of time, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. You can reduce the number. Let's say you can do 1 also. 1 thing you can see, 1 thing you can smell, hear, touch, taste, right? You can drink water if you want. So this will get back to your senses and then you can start upon your speech. The next technique is called acceptance and commitment therapy. In this particular therapeutic technique, we accept the nervousness. We accept the anxiety. Like I told you before, you have to think that I will become nervous when I'll go on stage. But that nervousness would be of only 5 seconds. You have to change your thought patterns that I am actually here to add value to my audience. I am here to share knowledge with them. And they are also accepting me as a person, as a communicator. They also want my best self. They also want to gain knowledge out of me, right? So some of the thoughts you can convert here. So I'm going to fail in this speech. So that can be changed to I'm having a thought that I will be failing from this speech. So you are just controlling your thoughts. You can control your situations with this acceptance and commitment therapy technique of yours. So try to accept the nervousness and help you to convert it into value system. The value that you're adding to yourself and the audience. The next few suggestions would be, ask as many questions as possible with your audience. Understand their nonverbal cues. If they are feeling boring, if they are feeling lack in the interest of what you're speaking, try to remove that topic, right? Customize the topic according to the audience at that very moment. You can skip some sections also. You can add something related to their knowledge. For example, if you're giving some content related to college students, so you can give a context of some meme which is very relevant or anything which is popular on social media that might create interest of the same topic. Then you can practice self-compassion towards yourself. Let's say if you're talking, I'm awful at this, I cannot communicate, I'm nervous. So try to see that you are giving your best self. Try to have that self-talk that I am giving my best self and this is how it works. And I am here to add value to the other person's life. Secondly, you can also reframe your mistakes, because at the end of the day is the delivery. You can look at all the speeches of Elon Musk, Sundar Pichai and all the global leaders that we have. They are not good communicator or orator. They make a lot of pauses. they stop in between, right? But they don't become, very anxious at that point of time. So you have to reframe your mistake that the audience won't care as long as you deliver the right content. Even if you stumble, even if you take a pause, even if you have silence for some seconds, they will cheer you up for that particular session of yours. So these are some of the techniques you can have to make your sessions public speaking more powerful. Lastly, I would like to share with you a golden rule. It's called 60-20-20 rule. So 20% of the audience are very curious about you. They will listen to you very attentively. Rest of the 20%, they will not listen to you. They will be doing their own work. They will not be interested in the topic. Middle 60%, that is the maximum audience, depends on whom you focus on. If you focus on the people who are not engaging with your content, you feel anxious because of those people, those 60 people will join that particular group. So now that will become 80-20. 80 people not listening to you and only 20 people listening to you. Rather than focusing on those people, if you focus on 20 people whom you are interacting with, they are confident about your content, they are listening to you actively, 60% people will go to that audience. Now it will be 80-20. 80 people listening to you and 20 people not listening to you. And that is how the reality of public speaking is. Nobody, 100% people cannot listen to you, right? Because of their personal reasons. It's your duty, your responsibility whom you are focusing on. Whether you are focusing on the people who are not listening to you or the people who are listening to you. That will make or break your dynamics of public speaking. I hope you understood today the concept of public speaking and how we related it to psychology, therapeutic techniques. Please write down in the comment which technique you liked the most. And also write down in the comment how did you apply these techniques to your school work, to your project work, to your college, to your office work, right? Like this video, share this video with your friends and family members who want to reduce their fear of public speaking. They want to become more confident on stage. Subscribe to my channel, Ask Life with Anmol, to create balance in your life. Keep growing.